expectations and the misconceptions of AI are, and that people think that AI can just do anything. It can, it's magic. It can solve the world's problems. But if we don't put good data in, and I think a lot of us see this with our various customers, or we see it within our own businesses, if we don't have clean data, if we haven't taken the time, as I mentioned this morning. So where do you see, in terms of Avalara, where do you see the maturity gaps? You're on the tax compliance side. What are you seeing with your customers? And when you're trying to talk to them about utilizing your product, where do you see the gaps between what they want, what there is, and how you address their needs?
10 out of 10 companies today, they want to do something in agentic AI because it's become more of a cliche word. So that needs to be there as a part of your statement or of your vision and mission, etc. But little do people understand, what do you want to really accomplish by using agentic AI? And there are quite a lot of gaps like we were discussing. So in my experience of dealing with the Asia Pacific businesses, enterprises, and everyone, since we are in the element of taxation, primary maturity concerns which we see when I discuss with quite a lot of CFOs and the tax heads is, the first lever is about compliance. So they think taxation is a mere percentage, which is not the case. It's a combination of where you sell, what you sell, and when you sell, and to whom you sell. So this combination becomes insanely crazy when you do business in a jurisdiction-driven country like USA, because USA is not one country. It is 50 countries under one country, because they operate in 13,000 jurisdictions, and the taxation is insanely complicated. So the first hardship for us whenever we talk to customer is to make them realize that the US taxation is completely different from the VAT and the GST, the JAMS, because they don't have a concept of credit at all. So the customer would primarily ask me, why do they don't have a credit mechanism? Why are you not introducing it? But little they really understand, it's not we do it, it's the governments that take a call. And the notion for that is, I'll deploy an HR GPT or an agent, and then we try and get an output of it. But it's not that simple as we think about it, because what you are passing your data, because that's the common theme that came out in the previous panel as well, is, see, data is the new oil, but the oil has a characteristic to it. It is crude oil. You need to give refined oil so that then you get the real output. Then it becomes your petrol for your engine, right? So your data is never clean because you have multiple systems and all systems are disconnected. We are heavily, as a companies, in today's thing, we want to add a lot of customizations. You want to add so much to the top layers of your existing technology. But little do we are concerned, is your technology solutions talking to each other? When they don't talk to each other, it is as good as you have a tax function, you have a finance function, you have a collections function. Who doesn't talk to each other? That's the first maturity which I really see. And the second one is from a reporting standpoint. When we talk about reporting, especially when it comes to the taxation part of it, it is insanely complicated in various countries. When you talk about VAT and the GST, the rules or regulations are different. You are a retail company, you're doing business in Europe, they would ask you to do a statistical report, which is called as Intrastat, EC sales list, along with your regular VAT reporting. When it is in US, they would want to understand your reporting frequency can vary. It is not standardized as we are talking about. One state might ask you to do it on 15th, one would give you 20th, another would call you about a quarterly return, another would be inverse quarterly. So reporting is extremely manual driven. Today I see people think I can deploy 10 to 15 people to do the mundane tasks, or they would say let me try and bring in an agentic AI solution which can do it. But again, this is a link to your previous thing. Do you really have the right data that can process your transaction, that can translate into your returns? Because these both are interdependent. And the third and the most important thing is the audit readiness. So I was talking to Phyllis in the morning today. There is one of my customer, I don't want to name them obviously. So they received notice from one of the states for about $30,000. It's a mere rate change from a taxation standpoint. So they went back to ChatGPT and they have used it, and it gave some kind of reference, probably with some source. They went back to the tax authorities and quoted in the similar thing. This time the tax authorities are furious and they came back so strong, and now they are trying to investigate into the other transactions as well. So if you follow Sam Altman, Sam clearly mentioned ChatGPT is not a tax advisory bot for you, because he made an open statement because people are trying to do it. But it can turn as a potential advisory when you really cope up with the right intelligence. You need a solution that can go hand in glove. And the fourth and the most important thing which I see is, we feel, majority of the CFOs do ask me this question. If I get an agentic tax compliance solutions, will it replace my FTAs? Will I get a savings from an FTA standpoint? So to me, it is a major, major mindset issue for us as industry leaders, because AI is not here to replace people and give you an additional profitability. It is going to be a strong lever. It will definitely replace people who don't know how to use AI. It is our job as leaders to really train our resources to how to potentially utilize it for our benefit. This is the thing, we are more trained to use simple applications. But we should really expand the horizon. Think the larger blueprint from an organizational standpoint. How can you use agentic AI as a lever to bring cohesiveness amongst your finance functions? I think that's where the real holy grail lies.
I know if you, as you try and sell a product, as you try and share the benefits of what you can do for them, I'm sure there's a lot of fear out there. So how do you talk to them about it?
So being a tax compliance solution company, and we use agentic as a part of it. So we are an agentic compliance company as of now, wherein we go out to various kinds of customers who are doing business across. Like we talked about earlier, like I touched upon earlier as well. So enterprises, being someone who we are serving around 45,000 plus customers day in, day out, and processing about close to 55 billion transactions on average in a year. What we see is, like, enterprises are getting their significant lift when it comes to the tax determination and also from a reporting standpoint, because tax is all about determining the right tax at the right moment and reporting. But what we see is people would want to understand, do you have a solution that doesn't react to the changes, but it is something which can anticipate to the changes? Because the world is going under a tremendous transformation. Especially, we have seen e-invoicing as a journey picking up in APAC, Europe, and LATAM markets. And US has a significantly complicated structure. We talked about it, close to 30,000 jurisdictions. So probably, I'll just ask one question. I'll take one number. How many tax changes you think sales and use tax in the United States experienced in 1 year? Give me a very random number. One number. I'll not take more in the interest of time. Probably I'll give you a clue. It is 50 states. So it doesn't hurt. Taking one number shouldn't really hurt. Your finance guys, you can take that risk. 25. Oh man, you are the most optimistic person in the room. It's 197,000 changes. So the first thing, which whenever we tell this to the customer, is the first moment where they are unable to get in terms with this number. So you need a solution which is anticipating to the changes, the e-invoicing and the regulations that are changing. And there is also a resistance in quite a lot of companies from moving from process-driven to policy-driven. So it is not about the core process of A to B, B to C, but there is an element of process where you should really use agentic AI. What is an element where you need to drive an exception from an AI perspective? At times, AI will also go outsmart humans and will try and take a decision on it. But what is the viewpoint from an AI decision standpoint, especially from taxation? You cannot really bring in AI like I've told you earlier. So there should be a combination of it. So people think it is either I take the side of AI totally and I ignore the humans, or I take the total human side and ignore the AI, but there is an hybrid approach which we need to find a balance. You need AI, you also need your humans. So probably focus on skilling. That's what we every time push across to our customers.
Impact in this life cycle of order to cash, say in the next 5 years? We'll start with Krishna first.
I think my answer remains still, it's just more like right from the tax compliance part of it, because tax is an integral part of the OTC.